You really die the last time someone says your name.
The movie industry lacks ideas, but there is hope. We have to look to the independent, again, especially horror movies, to hopefully find something worth watching. It's been a pretty good year for that, but then, out of nowhere, we got a rarity that isn't just unique, but unexpectedly entertaining. At no point did I think we needed a true crime mockumentary. I mean, the whole idea just seemed bizarre. I think enough bad things don't really happen.
That's a bad example.
But in the case of Strange Harvest, to those who didn't see it, which is most of you, it's probably one of the best movies you didn't see this year. It's your typical crime show based on real events, only in this case, not real. But the fact is, the results can be surprisingly good if you know what you're doing. I'm going to put forth a proposition that I think a lot of other writers should follow. When they set out to recreate something, knowing what it's supposed to look like is a good first step. Right offhand, it's clear they put the time in, and as somebody who's seen a lot of shows in the genre, and by a lot I mean maybe a tenth, I can comfortably say anybody could watch this and believe it really happened. That is, if you look past the events of the movie, I don't think anything like this has happened, or at least recorded. But it's immediately clear they're not holding back, as a lot is shown. Kids are not excluded. And the deaths in this movie go beyond sadistic. Plus, I should say, spoilers, as you probably haven't seen it, so now we're good. And the man behind this, known as Mr. Shiny, the one going on a killing spree for currently unknown reasons, is not only creative in the way he pulls these off, but also extremely intelligent. You want to know something you kinda gotta get right to sell a concept like this? It's the mood. And they set that mood immediately upon seeing the first crime scene. It's already a sight that gets your attention, a family essentially forced to bleed out with a symbol written on the ceiling. Talk about knowing your brand, but then you have the details. The fact that they were made to watch each other, had buckets with their names on them, even the doctor explaining how this works. Like I said, you could easily think this happened, but then we get to how planned out this was. Spending a long time at the house without being seen, only leaving at one point to get a ladder to paint the symbol. The whole thing was meticulously planned out. It sets the perfect stage for a cat and mouse game, not a extremely new idea, but in this case it's a pretty good one. That's because you want to know how they might catch him, and more importantly, what's the next kill. Due to it not being real, that's okay, and if you thought that was sadistic, it goes beyond. But before that, I do want to mention how genuine this is, because again, I've seen a lot of these, and I'll tell you, it's how it tends to look.
But I had never seen anything like what happened to the Sheridan family on Alton Avenue.
I think that's when I first started thinking that maybe I would like to try to help people.
I actually never intended to be a cop. I had aspirations of being a drummer in a metal band.
If this really happened, I could completely see it looking this way. Introductions, friends and relatives of the victims, the reactions, even though you know it's not real, you still kinda feel something. The fact is, a few times I forgot it was fiction. It's done that good. They even gave a lot of them backstories, limited to how they became detectives, but the only thing that slightly throws it off is the swearing. Maybe it's just the shows I've seen, I don't really know. But if they bleeped it out, it may even seem more real. Anyway, the kills, there are lots of them, and for the most part, they one up the next. Well, kinda, it's debatable, but the Leach killing in particular is just disturbing as hell. Being slowly bled out for several days as he continuously puts new ones in, even having his tongue cut out to avoid screaming. Points for efficiency. Not only is this disgusting, but it continues to show off just how well thought out this was. It means you have to take care of these things, get them ready, and not be seen while doing it, and making the killer look this intelligent really keeps you invested. It eventually ups the ante to an on-camera death, which wasn't planned, and it just so happens to be the tamest death. Letting me down. It's not real, okay? You're watching this for a reason. But in the one almost too unrealistic moment, she somehow survives being shot in the head, along with other places, and it doesn't end there. It gets even more shocking. The killer seamlessly infiltrates the hospital, manages to hide in plain sight, and kills her anyway by putting drain cleaner in her transfusion bag. Yes, it is shocking, and due to the realism of the movie, devastating, but also a bit ridiculous too. Like I said, it's the only time I find this hard to believe, as in, if I thought it was real, I may be asking questions.
If I had just been paying attention, if I just looked into his eyes, I'll never forgive myself for not realizing just how bold he might really be.
Top it off with somebody this intelligent somehow not killing her in the first place. Yeah, headshots usually get the job done, but if you're gonna keep shooting, you'd think you make sure you got something else vital. But it doesn't mean the brutality can't go up, and after a security guard witnessed Shiny leaving after a basic hurt removal, well... yeah, now it's art. Not that kind of art. We see a tape showing why this happened, the gist of it being don't interfere, kind of giving off Red Dragon vibes, but the creativity, the brutality of these killings never disappoints, never feels like too much, never not enough, more or less just what's needed. That being said, nothing can live on brutality alone. That'd be ridiculous. No, it's the satisfying pacing, the way it never drags on, not to mention feeling real, and it's simply interesting and engaging all the way through. For example, at one point they finally go through his house, but seemingly don't find anything, aside from a few fingerprints on his telescope, just a hobby surely. But then later it's revealed the direction of that telescope lines up with a rare planet alignment that only happens every 800 years. This of course becomes the reason why he's doing this, though we don't ever get all the details. There's a scene when he picks somebody up and inevitably lets him go upon realizing he doesn't fit his criteria. That's never explained. He does keep in touch by occasionally sending them letters that hint at some delusional reasoning. Like I said, Red Dragon vibes. But like anything else in the movie, that's the way it likely would go. Realistically, if somebody does something similar to this, you're never gonna fully know why. Odds are they're crazy. Not Amber Heard crazy, at least that wasn't lethal. So overall, it's another example of the film feeling real. It's not like you don't get to know enough, the base of it is there, but if I had to give one instance of the movie kind of losing me, it would be them finding a key to his storage unit way too easily. Given how well thought out this was, I mean, I guess it could happen, and they gotta proceed somehow, but maybe something more practical. At this point, I was wondering, how does this end? Will he somehow get away? Will it be a cliffhanger? Potentially a letdown? And the outcome is the planet alignment, the supernatural stuff, may not be completely false. After questioning a rare acquaintance, we find out Shiny claimed to have a spiritual experience in the 1990s, and leading into the finale, he kidnaps a baby,
Cliche.
kills a number of people in the process, including his parents and a cop. The plan is to burn the child, ritualistic style, but even this movie isn't gonna go there. He stopped, shot dead, in the nick of time, so I think we have a happy ending. Obviously not, in true crime fashion. Nobody is happy for obvious reasons. A lot of blame on them, self-regret, some being unsatisfied with him getting out that easily, as in a quick, painless death. But unexpectedly, the Sky event actually did happen. Not only did it happen, but it had a visible effect on people, causing issues like migraines that didn't go away, maybe even lasted 3 long years. But as is reality, they respond like this.
I mean, sky looked weird that morning, no doubt about that, but there's plenty of weird stuff that happens in the sky. Aurora Borealis?
No, I don't believe in that stuff. But I still wish we never went camping that weekend.
That's not gonna help the families try and bring closure and heal from this mess.
It was obviously just a coincidence. The symptoms people experience just happened to be there. In the realm of this movie, it's clear that such things are not fake, and I gotta say, I like the inclusion of that. It puts a nice spin on it, the way they deny it does feel real, unfortunately, and it ends the movie on a very bittersweet note. A nice detail is one cop who is visibly unhappy about something, but you don't know what it is, actively saying he wished he hadn't gone. Technically, it could be the situation, maybe it was a bit humid, but in the end, you find out he's crippled. It's kind of obvious something bad happened, and it's another depressing but overall effective detail. That's what it is, effective. Anybody who's fond of The Real Thing is, I think, gonna really appreciate this, because despite its realism, it's still not set in reality. You got the supernatural stuff, a killing spree that likely will never happen, at least not this way, hopefully. And to be completely honest, that's how it should be. Some may want a mockumentary that could literally be real and you wouldn't know it, but to that I say, why? You could just watch The Real Thing because enough bad things do happen, and the endeavor would be more pointless than a badly written biopic. I think making it overly vile, involving the supernatural, was the right move. As long as the acting and the execution fits The Real Thing, I don't think it has to be a basic killing. Because it is so well done, so believable, so genuine, that alone is enough to sell it. And of all the independent movies I've seen this year, this may top them. It's not the kind of movie I thought I wanted. Similar to why I don't like biopics, the idea felt unneeded, but on occasion those do end up being good, and in this case, Strange Harvest goes to show that with the right effort, anything can be entertaining. Maybe not for the true crime fanatics, but to the open-minded, a disturbingly good time. And a very dark one. That said, make sure you like the video, subscribe down below if you enjoyed, and don't forget, sharing this is unfortunately a big deal. Because YouTube won't unless it decides to. It's random. That's why hitting the bell is imperative, and notifications may up and not work. And that's not bad enough, being unwillingly unsubscribed may be a thing too. That's how bad things have gotten. It would seem YouTube has a fuck-all approach, but I'm the analyst, and remember kids, with effort comes greatness. Fuck YouTube. Happy Halloween.